Organic versus strategic in terms of your brand. That's a great question, because it's also important to note that by being strategic, I mean, I'm a big advocate of thinking through your brand and making sure we're not just sort of letting life happen to us. That also doesn't necessarily mean, however, that we have to have it all figured out, and we have to have our 10-year plan that we're working off of and sort of diligently executing. Because as we all know now, I mean, there was a great book that came out this summer by a Columbia professor named Rita McGrath called The End of Competitive Advantage. And as she discusses in her book, and I think that we've probably seen it in our own lives, the notion, sort of long-standing notion, it was the bedrock of corporate strategy, that your firm should try to find a sustainable competitive advantage and then leverage it indefinitely. That basically doesn't work anymore, because the time that it takes for competitors to catch you is getting shorter. And so instead, it's more of a transient competitive advantage. So it means the real skill these days is adaptability and being nimble and figuring out how do you evolve with the market. And so what I would suggest is, in what ways should we be strategic with our brand? Well, number one, it's that we should get over the attitude, which a lot of people still have, that it is somehow bad or egotistical to even be thinking about our personal brand. I mean, some people they want to pretend they don't even think about it because, it's such a worldly concern and I just do my work. Well, that's great, but it's, that the sort of ethos of purity is not going to help anyone, least of all you. What we need to do is really understand, as we talked about with the steps, we need to understand what our current brand is. We need to know what we want it to be, what is our desired narrative, and what are a few things we can do. I mean, obviously, you're busy folks, you can't do everything on the list. Reinventing you and some of the strategies that we put forward is meant more as a smorgasbord. You pick the things that sound best or sound most doable or most relevant to you. So you pick those strategically and think through, okay, based on who I am, where I think I'm going now, here's what I'm doing. But we also, the pieces where we need to be adaptable is understanding that our 10-year vision is probably going to change. Our 5-year vision is probably going to change. And that is completely okay. We can adapt and adjust, but as long as we're being cognizant along the way in terms of the decisions we're making, then I think that is pretty valuable.